What's up, people? What's up, world? It's your boy Gallus, your host with the most. Today I'm here with a brand new video, something different. It's a lot going on in the world today, so I want you guys to check this video out, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up. Don't forget the notification bell. So show a little support for your boy.
We're going to begin, of course, in the Middle East after tensions between Tehran and Washington escalated exponentially over the weekend. Thousands of Iranians took to the streets over the weekend to mourn the death of General Qassem Soleimani. He was killed in a drone strike by the U.S. at the Baghdad International Airport. Iran's Supreme Ayatollah Khomeini and President Hassan Rouhani led prayers at the funeral after a procession said to be the largest in decades. President Trump continued to verbally attack Iran on Twitter, though, warning the U.S. will send, quote, brand new beautiful equipment to Iran if they attack any U.S. citizens or American bases. The president also threatened action against cultural sites in the country.
There it is. You have it. You see what's going on. Today was Soleimani funeral. A lot of people came out, show up, mourning, whatever. But at the end of the day, Iran said, man, it's not going to go down like that. We're going to attack. We want revenge. So President Trump, he ain't no punk. He said, man, look, let me tell y'all this. I just spent $2 trillion yesterday and some brand new equipment. And I'll send some y'all way. If y'all feel like y'all going to threaten us or come here or try to do something stupid, or attack our military bases, wherever, I got some brand new artilleries, man, and I'm ready to use them. So I'm gonna send some y'all way. A lot of people may think, oh man, it's gonna be a war. It's gonna be this. It ain't gonna be no war, man. Trump got his people back. I feel safe in the United States of America. I'm be honest with you, because this man ain't no punk. He did what a lot of presidents did not do. From Bush, Obama.
Iran's supreme leader in tears as he joined thousands of Iranians at a funeral procession for Qassem Soleimani today.
Mr. President!
Back at the White House after his winter stay at Mar-a-Lago, President Trump faces an escalating threat after the U.S. killed the Iranian general in an airstrike. The man who replaced Soleimani is vowing revenge.
We made the right decision to take out this terrorist.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo warned Iran not to retaliate.
The Iranian leadership needs to understand that attacking Americans is not cost-free.
On Twitter, President Trump said 52 sites could be targeted, including ones with cultural significance.
We may see an increased risk of war with Iran.
House Democrats will vote on a war powers resolution this week to try and limit the president's military actions. Yesterday, members of the Iranian parliament chanted "Death to America." The country announced it will no longer abide by the 2015 nuclear deal. The U.S. has more troops on the way to the Middle East, but yesterday Iraq's parliament approved a plan which would remove all American troops from its soil.
As you can see, the new guy who replaced Soleimani, he vows revenge. And then you got, his troops, his peoples, man, they rallying around saying, they're gonna get America. They're gonna shed blood here, but I'm telling them, they might need to think that twice. They might need to think it twice, man, because we got the state-of-the-art equipment, state-of-the-art military, state-of-the-art police, not to mention state-of-the-art, bombers, stealth, helicopters, planes, whatever the case may be, man. We got all that. That's why a lot of countries, they want to get us so bad, because we ahead of, we are 10 years, a decade ahead of some country in their military equipment, So they have to think twice. People worried that it might be a war, which I think it ain't. And for more precaution, President Trump done send 3,500 more troops over there to de-escalate the situation. And word is on the street that Iraq want all military personnel from the U.S. to leave their country, but they might make a sad mistake by requesting that harder. because at the end of the day, without U.S. presence over there, that country would be a war zone, you know. And then, you know, not to mention if they do force us out, then President Trump gonna put in some more sanction on them, and we already know that country, they don't like sanctions. They can't stand it. You know, they leave them with no food, no money, no resources, nobody buying their oil, none of that stuff. So they gotta think twice, man. Iraq, I think they should stay out of it and let US and Iran figure this thing out, you know. But consequences, man, you can't be threatening people or, you know, countries to be able, they can't become threatening the United States and feel like, you know, everything is gonna be all right. I think the president done a good job, a great job. I think he's done a great job taking that guy out. That guy was an imminent threat to our society and to the United States. With him, you know, not here no more, I feel like the world is a safer place. And his right-hand man or the guy in command now who they elect to take over for him, he say that he's gonna attack, he's gonna do this, he's gonna shed blood in the US, but he's just talking, just blowing smoke. That's all he's doing.
Right at the end of that story, Mark's story there, he talked about Iraq's parliament voting to order U.S. troops out of the country and said basically if troops remain, they will be considered occupants. President Trump responded saying, look, the U.S. is not leaving unless Iraq pays for air bases. And, you know, and he also threatened sanctions against the Iraqi people. They know how devastating sanctions can be. Iraq is an ally. Iraq invited the U.S. troops to the country to help in the fight against ISIS. Can we talk about the diplomatic implications of threatening an ally in the region at such a sensitive time?
The United States is present in Iraq to help stabilize the country, and it is there as part of an international coalition that is fighting ISIS. Even though today there's no active fight, there's potential for ISIS to come back. So abandoning Iraq just like that is going to cause more problems down the line, and this is something that the U.S. is aware of, and the allies of the United States in the international coalition are also aware of. When it comes to Iraq, the government there is under a lot of pressure by Iran. A lot of people in the Iraqi government are sympathetic to Iran or allied with Iran. And therefore, as you can see, there are two trends. One trend is saying we basically need the United States and its allies to help us against ISIS and to help stabilize Iraq. But the pressure from the Iranian side is very strong. And I think eventually it's going to be very difficult for the U.S. to justify staying in Iraq unless explicitly invited to do so. So we are about to face a very delicate diplomatic standoff. So we have since learned that Iraqi's prime minister says that Soleimani was heading to Iraq to discuss de-escalation between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Now, the Trump administration says that this strike was necessary because Soleimani posed an imminent threat to Americans in the region or American interests in the region. Now we're hearing that there's a possibility that there was some diplomacy happening behind the scenes. Was this attack on Soleimani a miscalculation? Well, despite what message Soleimani might or might not have been carrying on this occasion, the fact remains Soleimani has been was responsible for attacks all over the Middle East against civilians, whether in Iran against protesters, whether in Iraq also against protesters, or even in Syria. He was the mastermind of Iran's proxy military groups in the Middle East at large. And therefore, he has not been someone whose role has been to carry diplomatic messages. He was a commander in charge of military operations all over the region. So this attack on Soleimani comes after decades of activity that caused a lot of damage in the region.
And that's something that I think certainly politicians here in the U.S. point out, no matter what party they represent, that there is no love lost when it comes to the death of Soleimani. You point out that his job was to sort of orchestrate these proxy maneuvers outside of Iran, and he did so. He did his job successfully. So let's talk about moving forward now. So he's no longer there. What is the goal, do you think, of the U.S. by doing this?
I think the U.S. in killing Soleimani wants to send Iran a very strong message. We have to remember that in Iraq in particular, in the run-up to the killing of Soleimani, anti-American sentiment had been growing on the street amongst pro-Iranian militias in Iraq, who were, for the last year or so, had been saying the U.S. should leave Iraq. Plus, the Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran had been taunting President Trump on Twitter, saying to him, you cannot do anything vis-a-vis Iran. So the response from the U.S. has been very decisive to say to Iran, actually, the U.S. can do things, and Iran shouldn't get so comfortable running around in Iraq as if it owns the place, because this was the sentiment by Iran, that Soleimani himself landed in Baghdad on a civilian plane. That tells us how comfortable the Iranians have been in thinking that they just can do whatever they like in Iraq. So this was a strong message from the United States that is meant to send a diplomatic message, actually, rather than a military one.
Okay, so NATO says that they will be meeting later on today to discuss, what could be the future escalation or not. What can we expect to come out of this meeting, and how much influence do you think NATO will have on this situation?
Well, no one wants to see hot confrontation between the United States and Iran any more than what we've already witnessed. No one wants to see the Middle East embroiled in a large-scale conflict that involves not just the United States, but also its other allies present on the ground. So I think the message from today, just like that from European leaders who have met and or issued a joint statement like France and Germany and the UK, everyone will want to call for de-escalation. As I said, ultimately here we have a diplomatic standoff rather than a military standoff. It may have taken the form of an attack on Soleimani or various threats on Twitter by President Trump and also by Iran, saying we will be able to attack U.S. targets. However, ultimately, there's a lot of posturing going on, and neither side wants to engage in war with one another on a large scale. So I'm hoping that the NATO meeting will contribute to de-escalation on both sides.
What could retaliation from Iran look like? We know that Soleimani's job was to make inroads and build connections with various militia groups throughout the region. There's a lot of concern about sort of proxy retaliation. What do you see as a possibility?
There are many possibilities in theory. For example, U.S. bases could be attacked, whether in Iraq or in the U.S. These are, again, the bases occupied not just by U.S. forces, but also international anti-ISIS coalition forces. Were that to happen, it would escalate the conflict beyond the United States and Iran. And I don't think this is in Iran's interest. I don't think it is likely, despite the rhetoric. There could be attacks in the Gulf region, in the Strait of Hormuz, like we've seen before, attacks on, for example, vessels that are passing through the Gulf. However, Iran now, after the killing of Soleimani, needs to calculate its steps quite carefully, because the U.S. has shown that it is capable and willing to engage in larger scale retaliation. So I don't think it's in Iran's interest to actually go down that route.
And do you think they would, if they choose to go down a route like that, stick to military targets?
They would stick to military targets, and they have been explicit in their threats to say U.S. civilians will not be a target. It's only U.S. soldiers. But even that is bad enough for the United States. It's not something that the United States is going to put up with. And President Trump has made that very clear. And I don't think anyone will expect the U.S. to just do nothing were its military assets to be attacked. And so I think right now we're seeing a lot of posturing on both sides. But I don't think it's in Iran's interest to actually even attack just military targets for the U.S.
All right, Lena Khatib, thank you so much.
Trump ain't no punk. You mess with Trump, you're going to feel it. A lot of us may not like the things that President Donald Trump say or what he do or, you know, all this stuff. The list goes on. But this man, he's not backing down from them other countries. He's not. That's one thing I like with Trump. He's not backing down from it. I'm not saying I'm backing Trump and I'm all Trump and I'm for Trump. Yeah, but I feel safe in America here with Trump in office. He might got impeached or what the case may be, but this guy here is no punk. He's not gonna let them little raggedy ass country over there sitting over there in their office or wherever and threaten us over here in America, threaten our armed forces over there in Baghdad. Trump gonna take whatever he can to make sure America's safe. And that's one thing I like with this guy. He gonna make sure we, us are safe. There y'all have it, people. It's your boy Gallus. Let me know what y'all think about this video. Leave your thoughts and comment down below. Don't forget, man, don't forget to like and subscribe to your boy channel. Hit them thumbs up, man, and the notification bell. So when I drop a new video, you know, you guys be the first to get it. Just let me know what y'all think, man, in the comment section down below. Let me know what y'all think about this.